Welcome back to Kearney Creek Farm. Today we're going to get going on those hides. They've been sitting for I think 3 days now with salt on them. Today we're going to pull them out here on this bench, which is just a sawhorse that I put a 2x, looks like a 2x10, 2x12, something like that. I put it on top to get more of a flat surface. We're going to use some gloves. We're going to use a sharp knife. This is a Mundial, Mundial 5607-5. It's pretty sharp and it's not too expensive. And a scraper that's designed to scrape. And I'll show this to you a little closer here. It's designed to scrape hides. I think these are they're super cheap. These are off of Amazon. And they're not the best in the world, but they do work. So let's grab some hides. All right, now I already shook off most of the salt. You can see how some of the salt is stuck to the hide. If you do it outside on grass like this, all this salt will probably kill the grass. So just be aware of that. I'm in an area where, I like the grass, but yeah. So all you want to do is just, you can start anywhere, is pick a spot. And what we're going to try to do is, you can kind of see there's a little bit of fat in here. There's a bunch of fat around the edges. We'll have to get to that in a second. So basically you want to hold this so it's stretched a little bit, and then just start going around the hide, and you kind of see where it's pulling up some of that fat off the hide. And I'm not looking for 100% because I do have other things to do. I'm just trying to get this to be so where it'll accept the tanning solution. If there's too much fat on it, it won't do that. We'll come back to those other areas in a second here. So I'm going to get this scraped off a little bit more so I can get an idea of what I have to pay attention to more. So, this is super exciting, isn't it? This right here's a stubborn spot. And it'll kind of curl up like that, and for when it gets a little bit, I'll grab a knife and kind of pull up on it and just cut between the skin and the fat there. So these other areas here, they should do something similar if I'm careful about it. What I don't want to do is I don't want to pierce through, which I've already done, the hide. And again, depending on what you're using these hides for, sometimes it doesn't really matter if there's holes in them. Usually you have this other side up anyway, so you can't see the holes. So it's not that big of a deal. But I guess if you wanted to have something extremely pristine, you could take hours and hours and hours on one hide and get it perfect. But again, that's not what I'm going for. So that is pretty much, I'll come back to this later. I wanted to show you the edges here. We're going to run into some chunks of fat like this that are really thick. That salt really did a good job of drying out all the kind of the thinner fat, but it can't do that with the amount of time we've had salt on it. So we're going to have to do this one of two ways. You can just cut your hide around it and shape it. By the way, after I get these tanned, I will shape them if I need to. I'll just cut to make sure it's, I guess, what will be the word? I can't think right now. It's too early in the morning for me. But anyway, if you want more of a uniform shape, you can cut them, you can trim them to be any shape you want, basically. I mean, you can cut this thing down into squares or circles or whatever, but I kind of like the more traditional shape. So with this, you can do this a couple ways. Like I said, you can cut it straight along here, or you can try to find an edge that you can pull up enough. See how I'm kind of pulling up that edge there. I'm kind of hurrying here because I don't want to bore you too much. But then you can grab it with your fingers and get in behind it like that. And just cut that whole thing off of there. And you can try scraping it again and see how well it goes. This is a very time-consuming project, but I love the results. So I think you get the idea, and you can continue to do that if you want. You can grab it again and pare it back even more. But again, it's very time-consuming. So let's, I guess, we will go on to the next step, and I'll show you what this looks like after it's done. So I've spent about, I don't know, 45 minutes on this. You can see here where I kind of cut through the fat layer right here is very thin, so I kind of cut through down to the wool there. But again, not too concerned about it. This could probably go for, I could probably work on this for another hour or two because there's just so much stuff to pull off of it. But I think I've got enough fat off of it to go ahead and apply the tanning solution. So that's what we're going to do next. Okay, this is what we use here. You can see that's called New Tan. And there's a number of steps on the back, which I usually ignore. I know there's different ways to do this, but this is the way I'm choosing to do it. We've done the whole process before, and yes, it does work. There's a lot of washing, drying, and a lot of waiting. This process can take, gosh, how long did it take last time? I don't know, 3 weeks. This is an experiment. I'm going to try to do this a little different and just see how it turns out. And if it works, we'll continue to do it this way. But anyway, I've got the New Tan and just a cheap throwaway brush. You can use your hands too, but you just pour it in the center here. And you just work it around. I'm going to do 2 hides today because I've got other obligations to take care of today, but I figure if I do a little bit every day, this will get done. And my dog now wants to help. Stay away from there. I don't need you licking that stuff. He always wants to help. And so last time we did this, we had to put a few coats on. You can kind of see there's a lot of fat in this area here, but again, I'm hoping, really hoping that this stuff will still take. This New Tan, you can buy it on Amazon. Unfortunately, it's not very cheap. but in our experience, it does work well. And I'm not sure how much you go through per hide, but it's got to be, I don't know, got to be at least, I don't know, 6 ounces, 8 ounces. You're going to get sick if you eat this stuff. You need to stay away. That's that inner dog, or the inner wolf coming out in him, apparently. He thinks he can eat anything. Yeah, we've used like totes with hot water, and we've used Baraxo before, and like Dawn dishwashing detergent or liquid, and then air dry between washings. It is just so time consuming. And I hope this turns out. If not, all these videos I made, they're going to be just really bad advice. But there's one thing I've learned, is that you just got to try something at least once to see if it works. And that's just the biggest key, is try. All right, so that looks pretty good there. Make sure I get all the edges. And I think we'll leave this one. I'll do the other one, and we'll come back and see. All right, well, we've got our tanning solution on. Just let that sit for 1 or 2 days, come back and check it. I still have all those other ones to do, plus I got one sitting here. It's got salt on it still. So it's a very slow process. It's very daunting, especially in this greenhouse that looks like crap, because the blackberries grew back again in here, which I've mentioned before. And I know I'm a broken record when it comes to that, but I am so tired of them. But anyway, thanks for coming back to the farm, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.